Hey guys, what's going on? James here, and recently on the community tab of my YouTube channel, I ran a poll. And if you guys haven't been on the community tab yet, I highly recommend you go check it out. I've been doing tons of interactive things with you guys, like polls and voting and uploading photos and communicating with you guys on more levels, and it's been a lot of fun, and definitely go check it out because we're continuing to build up that community tab together. But a couple of days ago, I posted a poll that said, would you want to see the Tampa Bay Buccaneers trade up, trade back, or stay put in the first round of the upcoming NFL draft? And 404 people voted on this, and the results were this. 21% of people said trade up, 22% of people said trade back, and 56% of people said stay put. And I wanted to give my own thoughts and opinions on what I feel the Tampa Bay Buccaneers should do. And again, I encourage all of you guys to give your thoughts and reasonings as to which opinion you are in down in the comment section below, just to continue the conversation. But I'll be upfront and frank with you guys. I think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers should stay put. I don't think that they should trade up. I don't think that they should trade back. I think staying put at pick number 32 is, in my opinion, the best move for them to do, and I'm going to explain why. So, I read a lot of your guys' comments, and I've put some thought into this, and the first thing that I want to talk about is, if you really think about it and you really break it down, all of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers starters are all set in stone right now. You know, there's a reason everybody's been freaking out about, oh man, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they brought back all of their starters. This hasn't been done since 1979 or whatever year it may have been. Whoa, that's crazy. And, you know, yeah, that's the reason everybody's been freaking out, is because that doesn't happen. So, you know, I was thinking about who would the Tampa Bay Buccaneers trade up for? Would it be a marquee pass rusher? Would it be a wide receiver? I don't know, because right now the Tampa Bay Buccaneers don't have any dire needs in terms of a starter. And I would think that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, or any team that would want to trade up in the draft, especially in the first round, would be looking for starting caliber talent. And right now, I just don't see that for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, unless they wanted to pull like a Green Bay Packers and trade up for some quarterback like what they did with Jordan Love last year, although I don't think that's going to happen. But the point is that all of the starters are set in stone. You look at the defense, you look at the offense, all of those groups. I mean, and they even have a couple of guys who are still probably coming back who will have high-tier fringe starter type positions, example Antonio Brown. So when I think about it, whoever the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were to hypothetically trade up for wouldn't really be in much of a better position than the guy they could take at pick number 32 if they were just to stay put. Let's say they traded up for an edge rusher. Would that guy start over Shaq Barrett? Probably not. Would that guy start over Jason Pierre-Paul? Probably not. So if they traded up for an edge rusher, he'd be the third edge rusher. And if the Tampa Bay Buccaneers took a guy pick number 32, he would still be the third edge rusher. Do you see what I'm saying here? The only thing that I could think is if they traded up for, say, an interior or a defensive end or a defensive lineman to potentially replace Will Golson, who, again, his starting position seems to be pretty firm considering he's been playing very good in Todd Bowles' system, but even then, the defensive line prospects in this upcoming draft are not the strongest, and I would think certainly not worth trading up for unless you think Christian Barmore is all that in a bag of chips, which not a lot of people think that. I've seen very mixed reviews on him, but that would be the only position group. I mean, maybe a cornerback, but the Tampa Bay Buccaneers coaching staff really like Carlton Davis, Sean Murphy-Bunting, and Jamel Dean. The safety position, the linebackers. I mean, everything seems set in stone just on defense and not on offense. I mean, come on now. Maybe an offensive lineman to compete with Alex Kappa at guard. But you look at Donovan Smith, Alex Kappa, Ryan Jensen, Tristan Wirfs. Those guys are not getting, supplanted for their starting jobs. The wide receivers, no. There's even young guys who are still trying to fight, like Scotty Miller and Tyler Johnson for starting reps. The running back position is crowded enough as is, and the tight end position, Rob Gronkowski, O.J. Howard, Cam Brate, those guys ain't going anywhere, and then Tom Brady. So the point is that when you really break it down, the entire starting roster, there's not a lot of guys who would get supplanted for their starting spot, which would make trading up for a guy almost pointless because they would be in a similar situation as to whoever would be taken at that 32nd pick. And then I thought a little bit more about the trading up or the trading back idea, rather. You know, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers trading back. I saw a lot of comments. I saw a lot of thoughts about, you know, building up depth, getting more guys in, getting more bodies in the door. That can only be helpful. And I do agree with that to a certain degree. I will say that. I think that, yes, getting more depth can never hurt. And I do definitely feel that idea of trading back. I do definitely, you know, understand where people are coming from. Yeah, I'm lukewarm to that idea. But I even talked about this with Rhett and Evan of the Cannon Fire podcast recently during a live stream. There's only 53 spots on the final roster. If the Buccaneers were to trade back in the first round, they get an extra second, an extra third, maybe an extra sixth or seventh, something along those lines. There's a legitimate chance that a couple of those guys would get little to no playing time. We just saw Vaughn last year get literally nothing, basically, in terms of playing time. He was a third-round draft pick. So it isn't a guarantee, especially in the current atmosphere of what's going on in the world right now with the illness and all these other different types of things. It's harder for some of these young guys to get snaps and prove what they can do. I talked about it with Sam Renner recently here on the channel. So trading back for picks in this draft may be a little bit of a tough thing because some of those guys might not even get a chance to prove what they can do and may just become inactive most of the time on game day. Now, if the Buccaneers were to acquire picks in the next year's draft, that could be something that I could see potentially happening. But again, it wouldn't make a ton of sense for a win-now type of mentality and organizational mindset right now that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are in. If they're trying to accumulate picks for next year's draft, it wouldn't make a ton of sense to me. And as I said, there's only 53 men on this roster when everything is said and done, and those extra depth pieces, while it would be nice in the case of injuries, especially along, say, the offensive line or defensive line or linebackers or whatever it may be, it would be tough in the immediate sense to say, well, yeah, that is what is going to be good for this win now mentality. Which finally leads me to say, staying put, I think that the needs that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have right now can be addressed by staying put in the first round. You know, and I'll talk about this later on in a separate video, but when I think about what I feel the Tampa Bay Buccaneers should do in round one of the NFL draft, and what I feel that they could do in the later rounds of the NFL draft, because a trade back doesn't just affect the first round, it affects the later rounds as well. I think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers don't need to do that because they have already re-signed so many stinking guys, even depth guys, right, along the defensive line, along whatever position it may be, you name it, the offensive line, you know, the cornerback room. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers have done that. They've brought back their starters. They've even brought back some depth pieces as well. Their needs aren't so extreme to where you need to trade up or trade back. I think that just by staying put, they can really fill out whatever remaining needs that they have left on this team. Again, I'll go into what they think they should do, what I think they should do in the first round in a separate video, but ultimately, I don't think a trade up is necessary. I don't think a trade back is necessary. I think that right now, with the win now mentality that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have, and given the circumstances of this roster, which it is important to look at the circumstances contextually of this roster, I think staying put and just selecting the best player available for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers board would be the best move for them to make in terms of being a win now type of mentality. But guys, that's kind of going to be it for my thoughts in this video. Hopefully I made some sense. This is like my third take recording this video, so you know, it is what it is. But leave me your guys' thoughts down in the comment section below. What do you guys think? Do you think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers should trade up, trade back, or stay put? Again, just for me personally, I do think it makes the most sense logistically for them to stay put, and I think it makes the most sense in terms of their win-now mentality to stay put. Logistically, it goes against trading up, because whoever they get in that trade-up would probably be in the same exact position as whoever they would take at pick number 32. And then in terms of the win-now mentality, that counters trading back, because again, trading back for future picks in, say, next year's draft wouldn't help out too much in a win now mentality, and then getting extra guys in this year's draft could be detrimental because those guys might not even end up playing. Again, would be okay in the case of injury and whatnot, but in terms of getting a guy who can help you right away, that's not that helpful. So anyway, guys, leave me your thoughts about all this down in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching this video. Hope y'all enjoyed, and I will see you all in the next video or the next live stream. But until then, and as always, guys, goodbye for now, and go Bucs.